Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to the next part of same series. I'm Waqar Ahmed, and in today's video I'm gonna discuss past, perfect, progressive or continuous. Just to continue our series, I've already done um, a video lesson on present perfect and all the previous categories. If you haven't watched that video yet, I highly recommend that you go and watch that first, learn that category first, so that you could easily understand without struggling or scrambling a lot today's video. Now, first of all, let's learn why we actually use past perfect, progressive or continuous. Here I have written, we use past perfect, progressive or continuous to talk about the actions and situations that had been happening or continuing up. One of this you could say, right? Up to a past moment or certain moment, right? Past certain moment. I am repeating. We use past perfect, progressive or continuous to talk about the actions or situations or something, as I have written here, that had been happening or continuing up to a past moment or past certain moment. We here, let me first of all differentiate the two categories, past progressive and past perfect progressive. In past progressive, we only emphasize the continuity, while in past perfect progressive, we even show how long something had been happening or taken place. I hope you have got it. Now let's move towards the uh, structure analysis. So I'm gonna first of all parse the affirmative structure, which begins with subject and then had. We are not gonna use here have or has, because have is the main form, of which third person singular form is has, but both forms are the present form. Since this is a past tense, so second form and third form of have is had. I have used here had since this is a past tense category. Plus had plus been, right? Why we have used been, I'll tell you in a minute if I remember. Plus verb, and verb is going to be in fourth form, right, as we did in present perfect progressive. Now since the verb is in fourth form, we must use either is, was, were, been or been, but we can't use since this is the fourth form and here is the had. So we have be, and be is the main form, and if I can show you, be is the main form, right, of which third, this is the third form is been, right? So we are going to use after has or had, we put third form of main verb or even helping verb, since be is helping verb here. So I have put here been because it's coming just after had. So the verb that comes after has or had comes in third form. So this is been, right? And it's been used here just to help this continuous form of verb, right? Now function properly. Plus extra word. Now negative structure is gonna be the same, is gonna remain same. We are not gonna make any changes on that. But in this structure, the one word is additive. We add only not, because this is a negative, we must use their not to show negation, and rest of the words are gonna remain the same. Now plus interrogative, the third one. As I have mentioned in all of my previous lectures, that we first put the helping verb or auxiliary verb at the beginning of the sentences to show this is a confirmative, right? Now plus subject plus been and plus verb, and here you have to keep the verb in fourth form. You're going to use fourth form of main verb, and even here, right, plus extra word or object. Now as I have parsed all three types of structures, now moving towards looking at some example sentences with the same category I have written here. So the first one example that we have today is when I met him. I'm saying when I met him, he had been eating for 30 minutes. When I met that guy, when I met him, he had been eating for 30 minutes. Moving back here, we use it to talk about the actions or situations that had been happening to a past, up to a past moment, right, or certain moment. So this action, this action had already been happening, right? This action, eating of him, had been taken place, was in continuity, it was in progress when another action interrupted it. It didn't interrupt actually. I'm just saying, just to make you understand, that this was the second action which happened when this had already been happening, right? So when I, who is me, when I met him, so before I met him, he had started eating food, and until the time, until I can make you understand here, this is the time when he started eating, right? And this is when I saw him eating, right? So this one, where is that gone? Eating had happened before, right? And this one action happened after it. So this is the more past, right? Past, but this is more past, and this is also past, but only past simple, right? I hope you have got it. I've tried my best to make you understand. So this action had been happening before this took place. Now second one example, my uncle had been learning karate since his school. So since his school, my uncle had been learning or training for fighting. You know, it's a kind of martial art, I guess, or I don't know what this is properly. This is just karate. It's a physical fighting, right, for the self-defense. So my uncle had been learning it since his school time. So action which began when my uncle would study in his school, at that time he started learning this karate, and he continued learning, right? So this is longer happen action. Getting my point? Now here I have used since. If you have watched our first one, the same category, which was only present perfect progressive as well. Over there I made you understand since and for, and I even mentioned that we don't necessarily have to use since and for all the time in all the sentences. No, it's not. It's quite not important, right? But you can as well, you can use as well. So the difference between since and for will be told you once again for your further facilitation in learning. So we have looked at second one example, and here this is what you have to keep in your mind. I'm gonna discuss it later on, inshallah. Now the third one example sentence that we have is interrogative, right? Had he also been learning since his school? So my uncle had been learning, so I'm saying had he also been learning? This is interrogative, right? Here I am confirming I know a bit, but I don't know exactly what it happened there. I'm quite not sure about it, right? So this is interrogative. I can write down one more affirmative example for you. She had been teaching for, let's say, 5 months, right? 5 months. This is negative. And if you only add here, she had not been teaching for 5 months, it becomes negative, right? One more interrogative. Had I been smart? I'm sorry, not since. Never rub the board with your finger. Smiling with him. Had I been smiling with him as well, this is our sentence, and I have not used any either since or for, but it's still correct. Right, now let's move towards this difference between these two words again. If we use to show, starting point, right, and we use it to show period of time. Now what you have to keep in your mind is, let me give you some examples with this. What else could be starting point? For example, Saturday, January, my birth, my his wedding, right, my school, here's the example, right, and if since Eid al-Fitr, or since the accident took place, right, these are starting points. While period of time could be for 2 months, for 2 hours, for 2 years, for 2 decades, right, or for few seconds, the or for a long time. These are the period of times, right? Now I'm gonna keep the learning and the lecture on this one category till here, and I'm gonna tell you one more thing, that we're gonna do the next one, which is future perfect progressive lesson, inshallah, the next time. And if you have any question, you may just post your question below in the comment section. And that's all from my side. Inshallah, see you again. Till then, take care and Allah Hafiz.